The room was quiet, except for the faint hum of energy coursing through the walls. The Galactic Council chamber stretched high above, its ceiling lost in a haze of shimmering light. Delegates from countless species sat in their designated seats, each one representing a civilization that had thrived among the stars for millennia. At the center of it all stood Daniel Carter, a man whose presence seemed almost small compared to the grandeur of the room. Yet, his voice carried weight, as if every word he spoke could tip the balance of the galaxy. Daniel took a deep breath and looked around. He saw the faces of beings who had long considered humanity a lesser race, a young species still learning how to navigate the vastness of space. For decades, Earth had followed their rules, signed their treaties, and given them resources without question. But today, everything would change. Today, humanity would no longer bow to their demands. He began speaking, his tone calm but firm. For centuries, we have sought a place among you. We have worked tirelessly to prove ourselves worthy of standing alongside your great civilizations. But what have we received in return? His eyes scanned the room, meeting the gaze of those who dared to look at him. Broken promises, unequal treaties, exploitation of our planet's resources. You have treated us not as equals, but as tools to serve your needs. A ripple of murmurs spread across the chamber. Some delegates shifted uncomfortably in their seats, while others glared at Daniel with cold indifference. He continued, undeterred. We came here hoping for partnership, for mutual growth. Instead, we found manipulation and greed. Humanity has given enough, and now we are taking back our future. From this day forward, we will no longer be part of the Galactic Council. The silence that followed was deafening. No one moved. No one spoke. It was as if the entire galaxy had stopped breathing. Even the artificial lights in the room seemed dimmer, casting long shadows across the floor. Daniel stepped back from the podium, his heart pounding in his chest. He knew the consequences of his words. Leaving the council meant stepping into the unknown, a universe where alliances often determined survival. But he also knew it was the right thing to do. As he walked away, the weight of what he had just done pressed down on him. He glanced up at the massive window that dominated one wall of the chamber. Beyond it lay the endless expanse of stars, glittering like diamonds against the black void. For a moment, he felt a pang of doubt. Could humanity truly stand alone? Would they survive without the protection or control of the council? But then he remembered why he had come here today. He thought of the people back on Earth, the ones who had trusted him to speak for them. They were farmers, teachers, engineers, and dreamers. They deserved better than what the council had offered. They deserved a chance to build something greater, something entirely their own. When Daniel finally exited the chamber, he was greeted by a group of human aides waiting anxiously outside. One of them, a young woman named Laura, gave him a hesitant smile. "Do you think we did the right thing?" she asked softly. Daniel nodded, though his expression remained serious. "We'll find out soon enough," he replied. Little did he know, the real challenges were only beginning. Across the galaxy, whispers of humanity's bold move spread like wildfire. Some saw it as an act of defiance, others as an opportunity. And somewhere far away, hidden in the shadows of distant stars, plans were already being made to ensure that humanity's newfound freedom wouldn't last long. Back on Earth, the news of humanity's departure from the Galactic Council spread like wildfire. People gathered in streets, homes, and public squares to discuss what it meant for their future. Some cheered, waving flags and celebrating the decision as a victory for freedom and independence. Others were less enthusiastic, their faces filled with worry, as they wondered how Earth would survive without the protection, or at least the uneasy alliance, of the Council. Laura Bennett sat in her small apartment, staring at the screen of her laptop. As a journalist, she had covered interstellar politics for years, but nothing had prepared her for this moment. Her editor had already sent her 3 messages, urging her to write an article that would stir emotions and rally people against alien powers. Make them angry, the last message read. Anger sells. But Laura hesitated. She didn't want to fan the flames of fear or hatred. Not yet. Her phone buzzed beside her, pulling her out of her thoughts. It was her brother Ethan. He had worked as a diplomat before retiring, disillusioned by the very system Daniel Carter now rejected. When Laura answered, Ethan's voice came through calm but firm. "Don't let them push you into writing something reckless," he said. "This isn't just about pride or rebellion. There will be consequences, and we need to think carefully." "I know," Laura replied, running a hand through her hair. "But everyone wants answers. What happens next? Are we safe? Should we trust Carter?" Ethan sighed. "No one knows yet, but there are rumors, whispers about secret projects, weapons, technologies stolen from alien archives. If those are real, it could mean trouble, or hope. Either way, you should dig deeper." The mention of secret projects caught Laura's attention. She spent the next few hours combing through classified documents, leaked reports, and anonymous tips. Slowly, a picture began to emerge. Deep beneath the surface of Earth, in hidden labs far from public view, scientists had been working on advanced technology. Some of it was based on alien designs obtained through questionable means. Others seemed entirely original, born from humanity's desperate need to keep up with older, more powerful species. As she pieced together the information, Laura couldn't shake the feeling that something bigger was at play. Her investigation led her to a name: Victor Hale, a disgraced scientist who had once collaborated with alien researchers. Hale had disappeared from public life years ago after being accused of unethical experiments. Now, sources suggested he might still be involved in these secret projects, and possibly more. Determined to get answers, Laura tracked down one of Hale's former colleagues, a woman named Dr. Patricia Morse. The meeting took place in a quiet cafe on the outskirts of the city. Patricia was cautious at first, glancing around as if expecting someone to overhear. But when Laura mentioned Hale's name, her defenses dropped. "He believes he's doing the right thing," Patricia admitted, keeping her voice low. "Victor thinks humanity isn't ready to stand alone. He says we're too divided, too weak. That's why he helped certain groups that don't always have Earth's best interests at heart." Laura leaned forward, her pulse quickening. "What kind of groups?" Patricia hesitated, then shook her head. "I can't say more. Just be careful. This goes deeper than you realize." That night, as Laura returned home, her mind raced with questions. Was Victor Hale a traitor, or was he trying to protect humanity in his own twisted way? And who were these mysterious groups Patricia had hinted at? One thing was clear: whatever path Earth chose next, it wouldn't be easy. Across the planet, divisions grew wider. Protests erupted in cities, some demanding action against alien threats, others calling for peace and diplomacy. Meanwhile, in the shadows, unseen forces plotted moves that could shape humanity's fate forever. Laura knew one thing for sure: the story was far from over. Far from Earth, on the edges of explored space, Captain Ryan Mitchell stood on the bridge of the Aurora *, staring out at the endless sea of stars. His ship was small compared to the massive vessels often seen near the Galactic Council's territory, but it was fast and equipped with advanced sensors designed to detect dangers in uncharted regions. Ryan had been tasked with mapping safe routes, escape paths, really, in case humanity needed to flee deeper into the galaxy. It wasn't a job he enjoyed, but it was necessary. The crew worked quietly around him, their faces tense. Everyone knew the stakes. Humanity's decision to leave the Galactic Council had sent shockwaves across the stars, and no one could predict how other species would react. Some might see it as an act of bravery, others might view it as a threat. Either way, Earth was vulnerable now, and Ryan's mission was part of the effort to prepare for whatever came next. "Captain," called Lieutenant Harper, breaking the silence, "we're picking up something unusual ahead. A derelict ship, drifting near that dying star." Ryan frowned and walked over to the console. On the screen, a faint outline of a vessel appeared, its hull battered and scorched. "It didn't match any known design. Any signs of life?" he asked. Harper shook her head. No heat signatures. No power readings. Looks abandoned. Ryan hesitated. Investigating an unknown ship this far from friendly territory was risky. But curiosity got the better of him. Set a course. Let's take a closer look. As they approached, the ship loomed larger, its surface pitted with scars from battles or collisions. The airlock was damaged, so the team used cutting tools to breach the hull. Inside, the corridors were dark and eerily silent. Dust coated every surface, and the smell of decay lingered in the air. It was clear no one had been here for a long time. "This place gives me the creeps," muttered crewman Lewis, shining his flashlight down a narrow hallway. "Stay focused," Ryan said sharply. "We're here for answers, not chills." They moved deeper into the ship until they reached what appeared to be a control room. Panels lined the walls, most of them dead, but one screen flickered weakly. Harper knelt beside it, tapping commands into the interface. After a few moments, fragments of text began to appear, messages written in an alien language. "I can't read this," Harper admitted, frustration creeping into her voice. "But there are coordinates embedded in the data. And, wait, there's something else." "What is it?" Ryan asked, stepping closer. "It's a warning," Harper replied, her tone grim. "Something about a hidden alliance. They mention Earth by name." Ryan's stomach tightened. "An alliance against us." "It looks that way," Harper said. "Whoever left these messages wanted someone to find them. Maybe they hoped we'd know what's coming." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. If this information was real, it meant humanity wasn't just facing isolated threats. It was up against a coordinated effort to punish Earth for leaving the Council. "We need to decide," Ryan said finally. "Do we go back and warn Earth, or do we follow these coordinates and see where they lead?" Harper looked up at him, her expression conflicted. "If we go back, it might already be too late. But if we investigate, and it's a trap." Ryan nodded. He understood the risks. Turning to the crew, he made his choice. "We'll split up. Half of you will return to Earth with the data we've collected. The rest of us will follow the coordinates. If there's even a chance this leads to something important, we have to take it." As the team prepared to divide, Ryan couldn't shake the feeling that they were walking into danger. Somewhere out there, forces were aligning against humanity, and whether they succeeded or failed, the decisions they made in the coming days would shape the future of their species. Back on Earth, the tension was growing thicker by the day. Strange things were happening. Power grids failing in major cities, communication networks going dark for hours at a time, and reports of sabotage spreading like wildfire. People were scared, unsure of who or what to trust. In the middle of it all was Samantha Drake, the head of planetary security. Her job was to keep Earth safe, but lately, it felt like she was fighting an invisible enemy. Samantha sat in her office late at night, staring at a map covered in red markers. Each one represented a site hit by recent attacks. Power plants, data centers, even military installations. The pattern was clear. Someone was targeting Earth's infrastructure. But who? And how were they doing it without leaving a trace? Her assistant, a young man named Kyle, knocked softly before entering. "We've got another report," he said, holding out a tablet. "This time, it's a water treatment facility outside Chicago." Samantha sighed and took the device. As she scrolled through the details, her frustration grew. Whoever was behind this knew exactly where to strike to cause the most damage. "Any leads?" she asked, though she already knew the answer. "Not yet," Kyle admitted. "But there's something else." He hesitated, then added, "A name came up during the investigation. Victor Hale." The mention of that name sent a chill down Samantha's spine. Victor Hale had been a brilliant scientist once, respected for his work with alien technology. But after being accused of unethical experiments, he vanished from public life. Rumors suggested he still worked in secret, sometimes helping groups that didn't have humanity's best interests at heart. "Find him," Samantha said firmly. If he's involved, we need to know why and who he's working with. It didn't take long for her team to track Hale down. He was hiding in an abandoned research facility deep in the mountains, far from prying eyes. When Samantha arrived with a small squad, she found him sitting alone in a dimly lit room, surrounded by screens displaying streams of data. "Victor Hale," she said, stepping forward, "you've got a lot of explaining to do." Hale looked up, his face calm but tired. "I figured you'd come eventually," he replied. "What do you want to know?" "We want to know why critical systems are failing across the planet," Samantha shot back, "and whether you're responsible." Hale shook his head. "I'm not the one pulling the strings, but I can tell you this. There are factions within Earth's government, and beyond, who think humanity isn't ready to stand alone. They believe breaking away from the Galactic Council was a mistake. So they're trying to destabilize us?" Samantha asked, her voice sharp. "In a way," Hale admitted. "They think if things get bad enough, people will demand a return to the Council or accept help from other species, help that comes with strings attached." Samantha clenched her fists. "And you're helping them?" "I'm surviving," Hale said bitterly. "Do you think I wanted any of this? I tried to warn your leaders years ago, but no one listened. Now, I do what I have to." Despite his words, Samantha wasn't convinced. She ordered her team to confiscate the data from Hale's computers, hoping it would lead them to whoever was truly behind the attacks. Before leaving, she turned back to him. "If I find out you're lying, or worse, I'll make sure you regret it." As they drove away, Samantha couldn't shake the feeling that Hale was only part of the puzzle. Whoever was orchestrating these events was playing a dangerous game, and Earth was caught in the middle. Back at headquarters, analysts began sifting through the files taken from Hale's lab. Among the jumble of codes and encrypted messages, one thing became clear. Earth wasn't just dealing with internal threats. Forces from outside the planet were also involved, watching and waiting to see how humanity would respond. Samantha knew time was running out. If she didn't act quickly, the fragile unity holding humanity together might shatter completely. And when that happened, the galaxy would be more than happy to pick up the pieces. Emily Grant stood at the edge of the launch pad, her heart pounding as she watched the sleek silver ship before her. The Aurora gleamed under the morning sun, its surface reflecting the clear blue sky. This was it, the moment she had been preparing for. Her mission was simple yet daunting. Reach out to neutral species across the galaxy and convince them to form alliances with humanity. It wasn't just about survival anymore. It was about proving that Earth could stand on its own while still respecting others. Ethan Bennett, her brother and one of the few who supported her plan, approached her with a worried smile. "You don't have to do this alone, you know," he said softly. "Yes, I do," Emily replied, her voice steady despite the nerves bubbling inside her. "If we want their trust, they need to see that we're serious. That means going myself." Ethan nodded reluctantly. He handed her a small device, a communicator loaded with encrypted messages and proposals for collaboration. "Just be careful. Not everyone out there is going to welcome you with open arms." "I'll be fine," Emily assured him, though she wasn't entirely sure herself. She climbed aboard the Aurora, taking one last look at Earth before the doors sealed shut. As the engines roared to life, she felt a mix of fear and determination. Humanity's future might depend on what happened next. The journey took weeks, but eventually, the Aurora entered uncharted territory. One day, as Emily scanned the stars, the sensors picked up a signal, a faint, rhythmic pulse coming from a nearby asteroid field. Curious, she adjusted the ship's course, and soon found herself face to face with a vessel unlike any she'd seen before. Its design was organic, almost alive, with flowing curves and glowing veins of light running along its surface. A figure emerged from the alien ship, floating gracefully toward the Aurora. Through the viewport, Emily saw it clearly, a tall, slender being with shimmering skin and eyes like liquid gold. This was Kale, a member of a nomadic species known for staying neutral in galactic conflicts. Emily activated the comms system, her hands trembling slightly. "Hello," she began, choosing her words carefully. "My name is Emily Grant. I represent Earth. We've left the Galactic Council and are seeking new partnerships based on mutual respect." Kale tilted his head, studying her silently for a long moment. Then he spoke, his voice melodic yet firm. "Why should we care about your struggles? Your kind has caused enough trouble already." Emily swallowed hard. She had expected resistance, but hearing it so bluntly stung. Still, she pressed on. "Because we're trying to change. We've made mistakes, yes, but we're learning. If you give us a chance, we can show you that humanity isn't the same as it was." Kale didn't respond immediately. Instead, he floated closer, examining the Aurora with an unreadable expression. Finally, he said, "Prove it. Show me something that proves your sincerity." Emily hesitated, then reached for the communicator Ethan had given her. She transmitted a message detailing Earth's recent efforts, projects aimed at cleaning polluted planets, medical advancements shared freely with struggling colonies, and even attempts to mediate disputes between warring factions. Kale listened intently, his golden eyes narrowing as he absorbed the information. When the transmission ended, Kale remained silent for what felt like an eternity. Then, finally, he spoke. "This is not enough, but it is a start. Follow me. My people will hear your case." Relief washed over Emily as Cal turned back toward his ship. For the first time since leaving Earth, she allowed herself a small smile. It wasn't a guarantee of success, but it was a step forward. As the two ships sailed side by side through the vast emptiness of space, Emily couldn't help but feel a flicker of hope. Maybe, just maybe, humanity could find allies among the stars after all. But deep down, she knew the hardest part was still ahead. Convincing Cal's people would require more than words. It would take action, trust, and proof that humanity truly deserved a place among the galaxies. The negotiations with Cal's people were tense from the start. Emily Grant stood in a large chamber aboard their ship, surrounded by beings whose forms shimmered like liquid light. They moved silently, their expressions unreadable, as they listened to her proposal. Emily had spent days preparing for this moment, but now that she was here, doubt crept into her mind. Would they believe her? Would they trust humanity after everything that had happened? Kale stepped forward, his voice calm but firm. "You ask us to ally with your kind, yet your history speaks of greed and conflict. Why should we risk our neutrality for you?" Emily took a deep breath. She had rehearsed her answer countless times, but now it felt heavier, more real. "I won't deny our past mistakes," she said. "We've caused harm, yes, but leaving the Galactic Council was our way of saying we want to change. We're no longer willing to be tools for others' gain. Instead, we want to work together, with respect and equality." One of Cal's companions spoke up, their voice sharp. "Respect is earned, not given freely. What proof do you offer?" Emily hesitated, then activated a holographic display. Images appeared, showing Earth's recent efforts, cleaning toxic planets, sharing medicine with struggling colonies, and even helping mediate disputes between rival factions. "These are just the beginning," Emily explained. "If you join us, we can do so much more. Together, we can build something greater than either of us could alone." The room fell silent as the aliens studied the images. Finally, Kale turned to his people, speaking in their melodic language. After a long discussion, he faced Emily again. "We will consider your words, but know this, if you betray us, there will be consequences." Before Emily could respond, an alarm blared through the chamber. Cal's eyes widened as he looked at a screen on the wall. "Intruders," he said grimly. "A fleet approaches, one aligned with the Galactic Council." Panic surged through Emily. If the Council's forces attacked now, both her mission and Cal's people would be in danger. She quickly contacted the Aurora, ordering her crew to prepare for battle. Then she turned back to Kale. "Let us fight with you. We came here seeking allies, and now we'll prove ourselves." Kale hesitated, then nodded. "Very well, but stay close." The two ships moved into position, facing the incoming fleet. On board the Aurora Asterisk, Alex Monroe sat in the pilot's seat, his hands gripping the controls tightly. He was young and inexperienced, but today he didn't have the luxury of fear. As the enemy ships opened fire, Alex maneuvered the Aurora Asterisk with surprising skill, dodging blasts while returning fire. Back on Kale's ship, Emily watched the battle unfold. Explosions lit up the darkness of space, and the hum of energy weapons filled the air. For a moment, it seemed like they might lose. Then, unexpectedly, reinforcements arrived. Ships from other neutral species, drawn by Cal's call for help. Together, they pushed the invaders back, forcing them to retreat. When the battle ended, silence fell over the fleet. Emily stepped onto the bridge of the Aurora Asterisk, her legs trembling with exhaustion. Alex greeted her with a grin. "We did it," he said, pride shining in his eyes. Emily nodded, though her heart was heavy. The victory had come at a cost: damaged ships, injured crew members, and lives lost. Still, it proved something important. Humanity could stand its ground when it mattered most. Later, Kale approached Emily, his expression softer than before. "You fought well," he said. "Perhaps there is hope for your kind after all." Emily smiled faintly. "Thank you. We still have a long way to go, but this is a start." As the Allied ships parted ways, Emily looked out at the stars. The road ahead would be difficult, but for the first time, she felt a glimmer of optimism. Humanity wasn't alone anymore, not completely. And maybe, just maybe, that was enough to keep going. The victory against the invading fleet was a turning point, but it came at a heavy price. Back on Earth, cities were still recovering from the sabotage that had crippled their infrastructure. Power grids flickered back to life, one by one, but the scars of distrust ran deep. People were divided. Some celebrated the win as proof that humanity could stand on its own, while others feared retaliation from the Galactic Council or its allies. Laura Bennett sat at her desk in a small newsroom, staring at the glowing screen of her laptop. The article she had written about the battle had gone viral, sparking heated debates across the globe. Some praised her for highlighting humanity's resilience. Others accused her of stirring up fear. But Laura didn't care about the backlash anymore. What mattered was telling the truth, and right now, the truth was complicated. Her phone buzzed, pulling her out of her thoughts. It was Ethan, her brother. "Have you seen the latest reports?" he asked, his voice tense. "No. What is it?" Laura replied, sitting up straighter. "There's talk of another attack," Ethan said. "Bigger this time. The Council isn't happy we fought back, and neither are some of the species who stayed neutral." Laura's stomach dropped. She opened a new browser tab and began searching for updates. Sure enough, rumors were spreading about a massive armada gathering near Earth's solar system. If the reports were true, humanity was running out of time. Meanwhile, Samantha Drake worked tirelessly to shore up Earth's defenses. Her team had traced the sabotage efforts to a shadowy group within Earth's government, a faction secretly aligned with alien powers. Victor Hale, the disgraced scientist, had been detained, but his warnings haunted her. He had told her that humanity's enemies wouldn't stop until they crushed any chance of independence. "We need more than just weapons," Samantha muttered to herself as she stared at a map of Earth's defensive grid. "We need unity." That night, Laura published a groundbreaking exposé. In clear, simple language, she laid out everything she had uncovered: the sabotage, the secret factions, and the sacrifices made by ordinary people to protect their planet. She ended the article with a call to action, not for anger or revenge, but for hope and cooperation. Her words struck a chord. Across Earth, communities came together to rebuild. Farmers shared food with cities hit hardest by the blackouts. Engineers worked around the clock to repair damaged systems. Even those who had once opposed Daniel Carter's decision to leave the council began to see the value in standing united. In space, Emily Grant returned to Earth with reinforcements from Cal's people and other neutral species. Their arrival brought not only ships but also supplies and technology to aid in Earth's recovery. For the first time, humanity had tangible proof that they weren't alone in their fight. Daniel Carter watched all of this unfold from his office, where he now served as an advisor rather than a leader. He felt a mix of pride and relief. Leaving the council had been the right choice, but it was moments like these that reminded him why he had done it: to give humanity a chance to grow stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. When the alien armada finally arrived, Earth was ready. The combined forces of human pilots, neutral species, and advanced technology turned the tide of the battle. Alex Monroe, now a seasoned pilot, led a daring maneuver that scattered the enemy fleet, forcing them to retreat. As the dust settled, people gathered in streets and squares, cheering for the improbable victory. But amidst the celebration, there was also reflection. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge yet, and survived. It wasn't perfect, and the road ahead would still be difficult, but for the first time in years, there was a sense of purpose. Earth had taken its first steps toward carving out a destiny truly its own. And though the galaxy remained vast and unpredictable, one thing was certain: humanity had proven it could rise to meet whatever came next. The war was over, but the scars it left behind were deep. Earth stood battered but unbroken, its cities slowly coming back to life. Streets that had been dark for weeks now buzzed with activity as people worked together to rebuild. The sabotage and attacks had tested humanity's strength, but they had also revealed something unexpected: resilience. For the first time in years, there was a sense of unity, a shared understanding that survival depended not on power or fear, but on cooperation and trust. Daniel Carter walked through the ruins of a once thriving district, his hands tucked into the pockets of his coat. He wasn't alone. Laura Bennett walked beside him, her notebook clutched tightly in one hand. She had spent months documenting the struggles and triumphs of this new era, and now she wanted to hear Daniel's thoughts on what came next. "What happens now?" Laura asked, breaking the silence. Her voice was soft, almost hesitant. Daniel stopped and looked around at the workers hauling debris, the engineers repairing power lines, the children playing amidst the rubble. "Now," he said, "we build, not just buildings or ships, but something greater. A future where we don't rely on anyone else to tell us who we are." Laura nodded, scribbling notes as she listened. "Do you think we're ready for that? Really ready?" Daniel smiled faintly. "We have to be." Leaving the Galactic Council wasn't about proving we're better than them. It was about proving we can stand on our own, and still reach out when needed. Across the planet, others were asking the same question. Samantha Drake stood in her office, staring at a map of Earth's restored defenses. The battle had shown her how fragile their systems were, but it had also shown her the strength of human ingenuity. People from all walks of life had come together to protect their home, using whatever tools they had. It gave her hope, even as she knew the galaxy would always hold dangers. Emily Grant, meanwhile, prepared for her next journey aboard the Aurora *. Her mission to forge alliances with neutral species had succeeded beyond her wildest dreams, but she knew it was only the beginning. Humanity couldn't afford to isolate itself again, not after seeing how much could be gained through mutual respect and collaboration. As she stepped onto the ship, Cal's words echoed in her mind: "Respect is earned, not given freely." She intended to keep earning it. On board the Aurora *, Alex Monroe sat in the pilot's seat, running checks on the engines. The young man who had once doubted his abilities now carried himself with quiet confidence. He glanced up as Emily entered the bridge. "Ready when you are," he said with a grin. "Good," Emily replied, "because we've got a lot more work to do." As the Aurora * launched into space, its sleek form disappearing into the stars, Those left behind watched with a mix of pride and hope. Humanity's departure from the Galactic Council had been a bold move, one that forced them to confront their weaknesses and strengths. They had stumbled, made mistakes, and faced unimaginable challenges. But they had also grown. In the months and years that followed, Earth flourished in ways no one had expected. New technologies emerged, born from partnerships with neutral species. Artists, scientists, and dreamers pushed boundaries, creating works that celebrated humanity's unique place in the galaxy. And though tensions with the Council remained, humanity's voice grew louder, demanding equality, fairness, and recognition. One evening, Daniel Carter stood on a hill overlooking the city. Lights twinkled in the distance, a testament to everything they had fought for. Beside him, Ethan Bennett spoke quietly. "Do you think we did the right thing?" Daniel didn't answer immediately. Instead, he gazed upward at the stars, bright and endless against the night sky. "Yes," he said finally. "We may not have all the answers yet, but we've taken the first step. That's enough for now." Far away, the Aurora sailed toward distant worlds, its crew eager to explore what lay beyond. Humanity had walked away from the Galactic Council, but it hadn't turned its back on the galaxy. Instead, it had chosen a new path, one filled with uncertainty, challenges, and endless possibilities. And as the stars shone brightly above, they seemed to whisper a single truth: the story of humanity was far from over.